Fab. Hi, guys. So welcome to another stretch and reset class. I've just muted everyone. For those of you who've just joined, I've just popped the playlist in the chat again for you. Start from the beginning, work your way through Not on Shuffle, and pop it on play now if you're going to be using it. Head over to that mat. Make sure you've got a cushion and some water with you as well. And I will meet you there. We're going to be starting actually lying down today. So when you're ready, have a bit of a bend in your knees and lie down so that the head is on the pillow. We're going to take it nice and slow today. Last week, we had a bit of a pain-inducing session as we did foam rolling. So this is going to be a little bit calmer, more like what we've done in previous weeks, a bit of a deep holding session. We've got 45 minutes today, so we'll be holding our stretches for quite a long period of time. If there's anything that feels uncomfortable for you at all, feel free to just come back to our resting position, which I'll just demonstrate now. You guys stay where you are. Our resting position is just going to be our child's pose. So if at any point anything is too much for you, just come back to that. If you can, just start to give those eyes a little bit of a close down. I'm going to pop one hand on the belly and one hand up on the chest. Take a deep breath in with me and sigh that week away out through the mouth. Another deep breath in through the nose. Feeling that chest expand and sigh it out. And one more in through the nose. And sighing it away. Well done, guys. Take those arms, twist the fingers, entwine the fingers together, stretch them up overhead and reach away from you. If you're near a wall, think about you pretending to try and touch that wall. Stretch away and tilting over a little bit to the right-hand side and then the left-hand side, just twisting through that upper back and the tops of those arms as we start to loosen off the body. Well done, guys. Just moving through some of these rotations for about 30 seconds at your own pace. If you find that there's a point where there's a lot of tension, make sure to do a few kind of bounces there and make your way through stretching that yourself. Just keep it going, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Well done, guys. And when you're ready, slowly lowering those feet away from you, keeping the rotations going, but bringing our legs slowly down to the floor as well. Sliding the heels away. And we're going to stretch again, arms as far as you can, point those toes, tense every single bit of the body. And in 3, 2, 1, let it all go. Well done, guys. Bring those arms down to the side. And we're going to start with a spinal rotation. So taking your right arm up to the right-hand side, either straight out or in a T shape up by the side. Take your left hand to the outside of your right knee. Turn the head to face the right arm and bring that the right leg over to the left-hand side. Now, if you feel any clicking or anything, don't worry at all. And today we're just going to hold this one a little bit longer than we normally do. So we're focusing on full body today. We're just going to start by waking up that spine that connects the upper body and the lower body together. So with that left hand, just gently apply some pulses to the right leg to bring it gradually down to the floor, then release it away from you, down to the floor, and then release it away from you. And you should start to feel that spine, the mid-back opening up a little bit more. And we're just going to carry on working through this side for another 40 seconds. Remembering slow, deep breaths in through the nose and sighing them out through the mouth. If you're at home on your own, feel free to really sigh those breaths out. Any anguish from the week, get rid of it. Say goodbye to it. And when you're ready, we're going to bring that right leg back down to the floor, switching the left arm up to our side, right hand to the left knee, turn the head to the left and rotate the left leg over to the right hand side. Clearly, directions aren't my forte today. Over to the right hand side. And again, remember, any clicking in that back, don't worry at all. And again here, we're just going to work through those pulses, applying a little bit of pressure to the knee, then releasing it, and then a bit of pressure again and releasing it. I'm just going to come check how we're all doing. You guys carry on. Well done, Molly. Nice. Well done, Chloe. Good work, guys. About another 20 or so seconds of the pulses through this left hand side of the body. Starting to feel that spine waking up, which is really going to help for our full body stretching. And when you're ready, bring those hands back to your sides, bring that leg flat to the floor. Shuffle everything back into resting. And we're just going to take one more overhead reach. Point those toes, clench that bum, stretch, 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 and release into the floor. Well done, guys. Now we're going to work through a few more spinal stretches, bringing the right knee up to the chest, taking it into both arms. We're just going to roll it around in some circular motions with our hands on the shin. Be careful not to apply too much pressure here. Nice and gentle. We're going to roll it around. Nice big circles. Now this is all about where you need it to be. So if you want to change direction, if you want to hold in a place, certain position, you do that. We're going to have 30 seconds of you just working through that hip joint up into the spine on your own accord, where you need that mobility. Remembering all the time as we go that we need to keep that breathing going, keeping the fresh oxygen coming into those muscles to help them relax. Well done, guys. And slowly bringing that knee just up to the chest for a really deep stretch. Breathing in, sighing away. 2 more breaths in, sigh it away. And 1 more, in we go. And as you sigh away this time, lower that leg back to the floor. And that left leg comes up instead. And we start on the rotations that side. 30 seconds of whatever you need. Clockwise, anti-clockwise holds. Perhaps you want to rotate the leg slightly out of the socket to the side. Perhaps you want to cross it over and stretch the spine more. Wherever you want to be here. Well done, everyone. Trying to keep those eyes closed down if you can. Trying to use my voice as a guide as much as you can so that you can tune out from those surroundings a little bit. Nice. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Deep breath in. Bring that knee to the chest, sigh out. And 2 more breaths. Well done, guys. 1 more. And as you sigh out this time, losing that leg and everything going back to the floor. One more big stretch. Arms up, thumb tensed, point those toes, point, 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 point. And relax, melting into the floor. Well done, everyone. We're going to take that right arm up and across the chest, doing our arm stretch that we normally do in a seated position, but doing it from the floor, crossing the left arm over to bring it into the chest. Now, what you can notice when doing this from a lying position is how much that right shoulder moves. So we want to aim to keep it as close to the floor as we can. What you may find is that your shoulder's coming up away from the floor. So focus on trying to push it back down, that shoulder blade back into the mat as much as you can. And just breathing as we stretch out that shoulder into the top of the bicep. Well done, everyone. Nice. And when you're ready, switching those arms over, right arm over the left and stretching out that left shoulder. Keep the breathing going. And remember, trying to keep that shoulder blade as close to the floor as you can. Well done. If it's easier, feel free to use your hands to apply the pressure rather than the forearm, whatever is more comfortable. Well done, team. And letting go. Arms down to the side. We're just going to take 3 deep breaths together here. So one hand on the belly again, one hand on the chest. And breathing in for 4 together. Let's go. And sighing away for 4. In for 4. And out. And one more, really opening up those lungs. In we go. And sighing away one last time. Well done, guys. Slowly cross those legs where you're seated and use the arms to just push yourself up to a seated position. Now I'm just going to turn around. You guys stay where you are. From this seated position, we're going to work on our tricep stretch. So you're going to take your left arm up and bend it down the back. The right arm comes up to the elbow and gives a little bit of a pull, not too much, a little bit of a pull, so that you're feeling a nice stretch down the outside of the upper left arm. Now at the same time, you can tilt the head to the left, countering the stretch. And if you keep the right shoulder nice and low at the same time, you'll be stretching that tricep and that right hand side of the neck at the same time. Switching over for me, right arm comes up, left hand to the elbow, applying that pressure a little bit, and the head this time tilting over to the right, left shoulder down. Well done, guys. And letting go, we're just going to stay in this seated position, keeping those eyes down if you can. We're just going to work through some shoulder rolls, going backwards first, bring the shoulders all the way up to the ears, all the way back, all the way down, forwards, up, back, down. Well done, guys. Nice, nice, Emily. Forwards, up, back, down. One more for me. Up we go. Can you get it the highest you've gone? And down. And when you hit the bottom, we're rolling them forwards instead. Well done, guys. Top work. We're going for 3 more forwards. 2 more. And last one. Well done. Now we're going to stretch those legs out in front of us, crossing the right leg over the left. This is a tricky one, so I will come check that you're all okay. Right leg crosses over left, left arm wraps around the right leg, right hand goes behind you, and you're going to turn your body to the right hand side, looking back over the shoulder where you've got the arm behind you. And using the left hand arm, you're just going to apply a good squeeze, and you should feel a nice stretch down the right glute. And now, as we've been doing in our other stretches, feel free to kind of loosen it off and then pull back in. If you're finding it a little bit too tight, I'm just going to come check that we're all okay and we're all the right way around. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Well done, team. Keeping it there. Remember, relaxing off if you need, and then pulling yourself back in to that deep glute stretch, stretching through not just the main glute muscle, but also the smaller abductor and adductor muscle as well on the outside of our glute, which helps when we're running extend the leg. And lowering the right leg, bring the left leg up and over the right. I'm going to talk it through again, don't worry. Right arm around left leg, left hand behind you, body turns to the left hand side, and use that right arm to give the leg a big squeeze. And breathing in and out, nice and softly. Now, as I say every week, don't worry at all if one side seems a lot tighter than the other. That's absolutely fine. By doing these single leg stretches, rather than stretching both legs at the same time, of course has its place, but these single leg stretches are great for making sure that we're paying the right level of attention to each side of our body. So if you're working through any of these in your own time, it's totally fine if you feel that one side requires longer than the other. One more deep breath in and sigh it out for me. And we're going to lose that leg to the side. Hands go to the right, knees tuck under, and we're coming up to our tabletop position. Now, as always, if this is too painful on the knees for you, if you're on a wooden floor, for example, just grab your cushion, slide it underneath into a comfortable position, and tip yourself back into the tabletop. I think it's just me that's got a really uncomfortable wooden floor every week. So our hands are nicely spread. We want as much distance between the thumb and the pinky as we can, stretching out those hands as well. Any of you that have been using dumbbells or barbells or any kind of weights, we end up with a lot of tension in these hands. And from here, we're going to take a deep breath in. And as we breathe in, we're going to bring the belly button up. The forehead goes down. We tuck the tail and we go into our cow pose. And we're breathing in, tucking. Nice. Well done, everyone. And as we breathe out, the belly button goes down to the floor, head tips up, tail comes up. Well done. And just working through these at your own pace. As we breathe in, the back rounds and arches. And as we breathe out, the belly goes down to the floor, head goes up, tail goes up. And we're just going to spend around 90 seconds of you just working through these, but as you need to. So tune out from me on your screen. Just work through them at your own pace. Just remembering in as you breathe the belly in and back arches and rounds, out as you stretch away. And as always with our cat-cows, feel free to kind of add any movement you wish. If you want to stretch into those sides perhaps while you're here, if you want to round through the shoulders more than the back, go for it. This is your time to work through that pose. Nice, guys. Well done, Molly. Nice, Chloe. Perhaps you want to add some neck rotations in there. Perhaps you want to elongate that breath. Maybe when you're breathing in and that tummy is coming up, maybe you want to count to 4. Nice and slowly in and then away. As the body comes back through, the head tilts up, the belly goes down to the floor. Keeping them going, guys, at your own pace. Well done. Great work, guys. Keep them going. Just stretching out those backs for you guys that have been sat at desks all week, or if you've been running around after kids in the classroom, whatever you've been doing, we put a lot of tension through our back that we just don't realize. So just working through these nice and slowly. Well done, team. And we're going to meet back in that tabletop position. From here, we're going to put our feet together, knees go a little bit wider, remove that cushion if you're using one, and we're going to sit back into our child's pose. Now remember, we're going to start working through some kind of lunge type stretching, etc. And if that gets too much for you at any point, this is the relaxation pose, a rest pose for you to kind of come back to. But just before we move to those, we're going to do a few rotations. So we're going to take the right hand, feed it through and thread the needle through our child's pose, stretching out that right shoulder again. The shoulder comes down onto the floor. Now, if this is comfortable for you and you want to take it a bit further, try taking the left arm up and folding it over the back and stretching, twisting that chest to the left-hand side. It's a bit too much for me today, so I'm going to stay with my arm down to the floor. And I'm going to take the right arm back, and this time the left hand feeds through, stretching the left shoulder. Again, option, arm comes up and over the back, opening the chest to the right hand side. But if that's too much, just keep that arm outstretched to the front. Bringing that arm forwards, we're going to just shuffle ourselves, scoop ourselves forward into our upward dog stretch, tipping through, feet a little bit apart, hands should be by the sides, shoulders relaxed and looking up to the ceiling. Tuck those toes for me, shift the weight back, up onto the toes and stepping into our downward dog. As we've done every time we've done this, we're just going to slowly walk those legs as we get the legs used to being stretched out. So we're focusing on the hamstrings and the calves here really, but by walking them out, it just helps us to loosen them a little bit before we make it a fully static stretch. But whenever you're ready, send that bum up nice and high and lower those ankles down to the floor. Breathing in and out. If that's too much for you, feel free to keep walking, not a problem at all. Well done, guys. I'm going to come see how we're doing. Nice. Well done, Chloe. Try send that bum a little bit further up to the sky if you can, my love, narrowing the gap just a little bit. Well done. That's perfect. Well done. Nice. And we're going to take a nice deep breath here. Sigh it away. And as we take another deep breath, we're going to send the right leg up towards the ceiling. And we're going to step it forwards between the hands into a bit of a lunge. We're going to lower that back knee, untuck the toe, and we're going to sit up into our lunge. Now you're going to take your right hand onto the inner thigh of the right leg. And we're just going to work through opening the hip up a little bit. So at whatever pace, or as wide or as narrow as you need, just rocking backwards and forwards and using this time to open up into that joint a little bit. Chloe, I feel you, it's very hot in here. I've gone for completely the wrong outfit. Well done, guys. Just keeping that breathing going as we do it as well. And now we're just going to come and sit back, stretching the right leg out, sitting back a little bit onto the left and stretching down the back of that hamstring, chest as low as you can, but we don't want to round the back, try and keep it nice and straight. So you should be feeling this down the back of that right hamstring. Now the toes should be pointing to the ceiling, or if you've got a lot of flexibility, bringing them back to point towards the forehead, but wherever works for you. We don't want to be causing pain. We want to feel like we're in a stretch. Okay, guys? Well done. And once again, tuck the toes on the back leg, flatten that front foot, and we're going to lift up now with the left leg, and we're going to straighten the right leg at the front, straighten the left leg, and we should start to feel a nice stretch down the back of the left hamstring and calf. Now, if that's too much for you, feel free to keep a little bit of a bend in the front leg. It's a little bit of trial and error and finding how you can feel it for yourself, but I'm just going to point out where you should be feeling it. So you should be feeling in this back leg, the lower part of the hamstring, and down into your calf as well. Well done, guys. Keep that breathing going. And when you're ready, we're going to carefully step that right foot back. We're going up into that downward dog again. And remember, option to keep those feet walking if you need a little bit more mobility. Well done. And we're going to lower those knees, feet come together and down into our child's pose. Just for a little bit of a breather. Anyone feeling they need a sip of water or anything, grab it now before we go into the left hand lunge side. Well done. And when you're ready, tuck those toes, push yourself back up into downward dog, either with walking the feet out or completely static, up to you. On our next breath in, we're going to kick that left leg slowly up. And as we breathe out, we're going to get it between those hands. Don't worry if you need to step it a little bit, that's fine. Lower that right knee, untuck the toes, up. Grab onto something if you need a bit of stability. Left hand goes in, and we're going to work through some stretching in that left hip and groin kind of area. So coming really deep into that lunge, or just rotating out to the side. Whatever you feel you need here is absolutely fine. And we're just going to spend, again, about 30 seconds here. If it's too much on the back knee, remember the option is always there to just slide your pillow underneath. Again, I think I say this, but I'm the only one with a hardwood floor. Well done, team. Last few stretches into this hip area. And then we're going to tuck that heel under, toe up, and we're going to lean back again over that right leg. You might need to shuffle it back a little bit, find yourself a comfy position. Hands down to the side, try and keep the back straight as you can, and stretching down the back of that left hamstring this time. Remember, keep breathing. If you need a little bit of a bend in the knee as well, that's absolutely fine. We've all got different ranges of mobility and flexibility. They're completely individual to yourself, and that is totally fine. If you need to come up and out of the stretch and go back in, also completely fine. Well done, guys. Just going to stay here for another 10. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to come back onto that foot, tuck the back toe, hands to the floor, and step that left leg back to meet the right and into our downward dog. Oh, again. Now we're going to do a few rocks. So hands come a bit further forward. We're going into a plank, and then we're going to rock back with our bent knees. It's not quite a downward dog, really. We're just sending the bum back rather than up, but we're just working through a little bit of mobility here through the knees, through the ankles as well, because we've got those toes holding us up, and also through the shoulders a little too. And from here, we're going to step that right leg forwards the next time you rock forwards. Lower the back knee, lower the toes, come up again. And this time we're going to fold. You might need to hold on to something to do this. You're going to fold that right leg across, and we're going to lower ourselves down into our pigeon. Now, feel free to stay up on those hands. Feel free to go down onto the elbows, or if you're very flexible in this joint, of course, onto the floor. Oh, far too far for me today. If you wish, if you're going onto the floor, grab your pillow, pop your head on it. If you can't quite get onto your arms, but you want to go a bit further than the hands, you can use your pillow to bridge the gap a little bit as well. But you should be feeling this nicely through that right hip and glute. And as you breathe, just imagine that breath going directly into the hip. So not to anywhere else in the body, just to the hip. And gradually, you should hopefully feel it relax a little bit. Now we're going to stay here for quite a while, so feel free to move in the pose. If you're finding that where you are now is too easy, progress lower down to the floor. If you're finding it a little bit too hard, maybe come out of it up to the level before for 10-15 seconds before going back down again. I'm going to come see how we all are, you guys. Stay there. Good work. Chloe's having a nap, I think. She's just having a nap on her leg. Actually, I think Molly and Emily are as well. Well done, guys. I'm just staying there. We're going to take 2 really deep breaths now. We're going to try and breathe in for a whole 8 counts. Now, I'm not going to count because I won't be able to do it as well if I count. You guys, in your own time, on your next deep breath, count it in for 8. Let's go. And out for 8. And in for 4 now. And out for 4. Well done. And when you're ready, coming up out of that pigeon, stepping the foot back into a lunge, and we're just going to work through some more of those hip openers on that right leg. Again, remember, if it's too much on your left knee, slide that cushion back under. Nice work, team. Well done, Laura. Great work. Remember that left hand, if you need, can be on the floor, and you can work into that right joint if you need a little bit more of balance for yourself. Again, pillows can be a good block here. If you don't quite need it on the floor, but you need it somewhere, pop yourself some pillows underneath. And then we're going to do one final sit back onto this right hamstring. So when you're ready, slide the foot away, toes up to the ceiling, and bending over that front leg to stretch through the hamstring. Well done. Try your best to keep those hips facing forwards. Try not to rotate them either left or right. Try and keep them nice and parallel. Well done, guys. And we're going to take that right leg back behind us. Slide any cushions out the way. And we're going to push ourselves back into that plank. And we're going to go back into our rocks. Now we're looking to do about 10 of these. Well done, guys. And on your next rock forwards, bringing that left leg forwards, right knee down, untuck the toes. And then we're going to cross that left leg, wiggle it over, the foot over to the right-hand side, the knee comes down to the left, and we are into that stretch on the left-hand side now, either up on the hands, down on the forearms, or all the way down to the floor. Now, as we've had in our previous stretches, you may find that you can get lower on one side than the other. And again, that's absolutely fine. Focus on that breathing, close the eyes down if they're not already closed. And again, just try and imagine that breath is going to the hip, that fresh oxygen is going straight through to that hip joint, helping you to relax it in its socket, helping all those muscles in the lower back, into the glutes and into the top of the hamstring, that all connect together to stabilize that area, whether it's working through squats or whether it's working through your stride, whatever it is, we're using that hip joint all the time. So it's a really great one to make sure we're keeping stable. Well done, guys. We're just going to be here for another 20 or so seconds. If you need to come up, remember that's fine. If that's permanent, that's fine. If it's just for a couple of seconds before resetting, that's fine as well. Anything goes. These sessions are all about you. Nice, guys. When you're ready, you're going to come up onto the right knee again. That left foot comes into the low lunge. That cushion behind onto the right knee if you need. And then we're just going to perform a few more hip opens into that left hip area. Nice, Laura. Lovely, Molly. Well done. Now remember, these can be backwards and forwards, or they can be out to the side, or they can be a combination of both. As always, it's kind of whatever you need. You can also stay in this kind of forwards position and roll around in this area, or you can keep it moving. And in 5, we're going to come back into that hamstring stretch one last time. In 3, in 2, and 1. Shuffle that foot out, toes up to the ceiling. And oh, that is very tight into that hamstring stretch. If you can't touch the floor, again, some cushions underneath each of the hands works well, or just fingertips, just get your fingertips down, that's fine. And make sure those toes are pointing upwards. And as always, breathe, because I bet you're all holding your breath right now. Well done, team. Just 2 more breaths here. And last one. Well done. Back into that lunge. Remove the cushion if you're using one. Tuck the toe on the right leg and back to that downward dog stretch. Bum up to the ceiling. And hopefully this time you should find that you're a lot more stretched out than you were before. And we're just going to come forwards into, dip down and into that upward dog, sometimes called an extended cobra, up to the ceiling. Well done, guys. Nice. Try and get those shoulders down. Well done. And when you're ready, just going to lower that chest down to the floor. Grab your pillow, pop your head on it, whichever way you want. I'm just going to stay here for about 30 seconds. Your hands can be down by the side, they can be up by the pillow, whatever is comfortable for you. Just try and close those eyes down a little. We're going to spend a minute on our front today, and then we're going to flip over and spend our final couple of minutes on our backs. And all we want to focus on here is our breathing. So on your fronts, bring those hands behind you, interlock the fingers and lift up, looking forwards, point the toes and lowering it down. And when you're ready, rolling over nice and slowly onto the back, getting yourself comfortable. If that's legs bent, if that's legs out to the side, if that's flat, that is fine. Hands either down by the side, maybe you want them on your belly, perhaps on your thighs, again, wherever you like. And we're just going to stay here for our final minute or so. Try and keep those eyes closed if you can, switching the mind off from anything and everything you've had going on this week. Using every breath in through the nose to bring in fresh air to the body, and using every sigh out the mouth to breathe away any shit from the week you have had. Deep breath in and out. And keeping those eyes closed, I'm just going to leave you here in silence for a minute by yourself. Don't worry, I've not gone anywhere. I'll let you know when it's time to come back, but just keep those eyes closed and keep that breathing going until I tell you. Nice, and gradually start to wiggle those fingers and toes, keeping the eyes closed still. Just bringing a bit of life back to the body. Wriggle anything you feel needs a little bit of a wriggle. Roll over onto one side into a bit of a fetal position. Don't know if anyone else sleeps like this, but I do. And then hands down to the side, pushing yourself up. Slide that cushion underneath your bum if you need as you come into a cross-legged seated position. Whichever way you've got your legs crossed, cross them the other way for me, just so that we're stretching out any tightness. Keep the eyes closed, and together we're just going to take one big deep breath to finish off the session. So with me, we're going to breathe in together. Let's go. And sigh it away. And when you're ready, just blink those eyes back open. And welcome back, guys. Feel free to go to sleep, have a nap, whatever you want to do. Go get your Sunday wine, your Sunday roast, whatever you want to do, crack on with it. This has been recorded as per our usual stretch and reset sessions. So as always, this will be uploaded into the True Coach app where you can find it. So if you want to use it for any of your stretching post sessions. It's there for you. Or if you're trying to find a stretch that might help, obviously you can always message me, but you can always check back in there as well. I will stay on the line in case anyone has any questions, but if not, I will chat to you all tomorrow anyway. And a big welcome to Molly, who joins us properly tomorrow. Molly, this isn't everyone, but we come and go on this session, so it's nice for you to just meet a few smiley faces. Thanks everyone. Let me know if you've got any questions.
Thanks, Lily.